That's
have a
fine. That's
fun.
good.
I have a fun. I've been having fun car problems that I don't really know much a mechanic can help with.
Do
Like
go
what?
So everything about the car runs fine. There's no lights on, there's nothing chugging, there's no sounds, there's no smells. Everything about the car runs perfectly fine when it starts. It never doesn't start, but sometimes it like just stutters a shit ton before it starts. My father used to be a mechanic, he knows a fair bit about it. I took it to him, I asked him, he's like, I genuinely don't know. Sometimes it sputters, sometimes it starts like a normal car. There's no consistency over whether it's been running for the past couple hours, whether the temperature is a certain thing. I honestly think it's just the clutch might be fucking going for all I know. If I hadn't been driving it since I was a teenager, I just think I don't know how to start the damn thing.
It could be your fuel injectors are getting clogged. Like,
Clogged.
that's why it sputters when it
Could very
first
well
starts,
be.
and then as you
Yeah.
go, it's fine.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's like it tries to push it into a tiny hole, and it's like, ah, yes, now we shove it all through,
Yeah,
including
basically.
gunk, and now that's actually a problem that's building.
Get the I assume you have them there. They're like these $5 bottles about yay tall of
Yeah,
like fuel
yeah.
injector. Yeah, that's
Yep.
what I do.
Yeah, I've done that.
Oh,
It'll
you've
clean
already
your
done that.
shit.
Well, then never mind.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
how
I
long
did my
ago did you do it?
best.
Last week.
Well, you
Would've
did
been
your
on it.
best. So it would have ran through and everything and cleaned it all up.
Yeah.
Fuel injector. It could be.
Yeah.
Not the starter. There's something else.
Honestly,
The
part-
alternator's more of a battery thing, not a sputtery thing.
Oh,
I
true.
mean,
You're right.
it as somebody who just had alternator issues.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I mean, I guess it could technically be the alternator, but normally your car would then, just straight up, oh, I don't know, die.
yeah. I think we're forgetting the real likely cause. I pissed off like a godlike being, and this is how they're punishing me.
Oh, so you didn't carry Madame Zeroni up the hill while singing that "If Only" lullaby, and now you're cursed for thousands of generations?
No.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. What are you gonna
do? Why do you think you're an anime protagonist in real life sometimes, man? Why must you just constantly bring in
Because
this
I'm pasty skin, I scream a lot, I have blonde hair and blue eyes.
That literally checks
So
off
that
all
could
boxes.
I have
Okay,
like
no.
80 anime protags.
That's like such a wide spectrum. You could be an anime protagonist. You can be a Nazi. What else do you want to be?
I do have a fair bit of German in my
Yeah,
ancestry.
okay, that's I figured.
Well,
that's why
here's the issue is that you don't have the wild hair for the anime pro tag. So if we rule that out, there's only one thing left, and it's not looking good for you.
I mean Lloyd Forger.
All right,
son of a. But he's not. He doesn't got blonde hair.
He does.
Blonde hair.
What?
He literally does.
No, I thought he didn't have blonde hair.
Yes. Yes, he literally does. Yes.
Oh shit! You know what? I got people mixed up.
Clearly.
I forgot. There's another Lloyd, and I forgot his last name. So I thought that's who you're talking
Lloyd
about.
Irving?
I've never seen Spy. Yeah, I've never seen Spy
Lloyd
Family.
Irving. Yeah, no, very different Lloyd.
Yes. I've never seen Spy X Family, so I had no idea
I've
what his
seen
name
bits
was.
and pieces of it, and it looks adorable.
It is. I mean, the basic concept of a spy and an assassin marry each other and don't tell each other their secret identities while they adopt a child that can read their brains, and thinks that like both of what they do is the coolest shit ever because she's like 8.
Yeah, that's fair.
That concept alone is just hilarious.
See, Anya's facial expressions, honestly, they just give me life.
The amount of times where she will be ready to cook up some absolute mischief and she will just evil gremlin smile. It's so good.
It makes my heart happy.
So good. Oh, we love her. Absolutely adore that little goober.
But what have you guys been getting into this weekend?
Crying.
Nothing. Wait, hold on. Wait, that's more important. Why crying?
Are you okay?
I have my own reasons to cry, but why'd you cry?
I finished FF7 Rebirth, and I don't know how depressed I am.
Wait, okay, I have one question. Does it end right as Aerith gets stabbed, or does it keep going before that?
It ends at the Temple of the Ancients.
It doesn't end at the. Okay.
Or the City of the Ancients. Sorry.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah.
See, it would
Which
make
is an
more
original
sense
game where-
for it to end where she got an extra breathing hole.
Literally, no. It wasn't a breathing hole. It was through the chest.
It's
Did I stutter?
It-
She just
No,
has to
that's why I'm
try
correcting
really
you.
hard.
it does. I won't spoil obvious, but
Yes.
You mean for a 20-year-old game that's been remade?
I
I'm
mean for
assuming?
Rebirth.
Rebirth and the remake are very different. They have very different
Oh, did they?
storylines going on.
Okay.
Well,
They do and they don't. It's still the similar, but they've adjusted a lot of things.
see, and this is a lot of people are gonna have a lot of very interesting thoughts about this. I am very interested.
It's
I
fine.
mean,
This only
think
goes
about
up in like May or June. It's fine.
I mean, Biggs and Wedge still being around and having their own backstory, and was it Jessica?
Jesse, yeah.
Jesse, yeah. All of them
Jesse's
having their own
good.
backstories and such in the last game is so fucking cool. And then you get little hints and tidbits about what's supposed to happen next, and it's like, oh, that's not cool.
No, they do. They do a lot of stuff. A lot of very interesting stuff that a lot of people will have a lot of thoughts on, and I'm very interested in what people are gonna think of it because
I'm excited.
Comment below
very
your
much a
thoughts
square.
and feelings.
See, I'm excited. I
genuinely, I don't know, honestly, even how I feel about it all.
Really?
There's a lot of different, there's a lot of different things, I think. Overall, phenomenal game, phenomenal package. Like, it is legitimately
Shut the fuck up, Bricker.
between the fact that they very, very well, they did a phenomenal job of capturing the scope of the original game. It is genuinely the most impressive, technically, game I've ever played. Like, the how massive the world is, how much shit there is to do. The fact that little AI robot bitch Chadley makes you do a billion fucking things for it. I gave up on it.
Okay.
Fuck you, Chadley. Fuck you, Chadley, and
Wait,
fuck you, Mai.
No,
I hate you
come
both.
on, Chadley's cool.
Marcus,
Does it get worse?
he gives you there's 8 overworlds, and he gives you 20 things to do in all of them. It's awful.
Who's gonna do it? Guess who's gonna do them all because he's
Look,
got problems.
the worst part about it all, you get Gilgamesh for doing it. Gilgamesh is the greatest thing in the series. Gilgamesh is always worth it.
Wait,
He's just a
That's what
6-armed
summons, isn't it?
idiot. Yeah, he is. He's just a 6-armed idiot. And I love him so much. I also love that Bricker has no idea what
Not
we're
a clue.
talking about.
So with that, everybody, welcome to Scheduling Conflicts. I am Brickerboom.
Pivok.
and I'm the baby Rhino or Marcus, whichever one you want to call me. And oh my god, I just looked up Gilgamesh. Why does he look so bad in Rebirth?
So
Because he's Gilgamesh.
you said that we can just call you whatever we want to call you, Marcus.
You can't.
Correct.
You don't get allowed.
Well, that's too damn
not
bad. Daddy.
You are
All
not
right,
allowed.
Daddy.
By the way, drop the comments below if you want Marcus to officially have his name be Daddy 24/7.
No.
If I get at least one comment that says that, we'll make it happen.
Wait, hold on though. Hold on.
You just look
fuck
like
off.
a daddy.
No, you can't. So
Just
here's the
look
thing.
at
You can
that.
say.
Look at that face. Look at that pristine face, and tell me he isn't just daddy.
So you say one comment. That doesn't count as your own or any second account you may have, or Lady B's account, or anyone else
Well,
here.
that doesn't
Hold
seem
on, I'm gonna
fair.
GM Aaron real quick.
Also, I had to look it up, Parker, because my favorite summon was Alexander.
Yeah, you get Alexandrian.
Yeah, you do,
In
and he
Rebirth.
looks so badass. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
It's a big building.
My favorite
It is
song
a
was
big
probably
building.
Mushu. Mushu is pretty good.
Ushu. What?
Tinkerbell is also real good.
Tinkerbell was pretty good.
The only one you
Was
used.
it Mufasa that you got, or was it Simba?
Simba.
Yeah, that was good.
And in the... I
I'm
never really used
contributing
them
to
in
the
3.
conversation.
I mean,
I
just
never-
remember, fucking
I don't
Final
really-
Fantasy is in Kingdom Hearts.
True.
I didn't really. Yeah, somebody. It's really funny because every time a modern Final Fantasy with a semi-convoluted plot line comes up, there's a troglodyte online that goes, "I like this game until they started doing all the Kingdom Hearts kind of bullshit," and everyone's like, "There's a really good article that people just link the title of. It's like, I regret to inform you, Kingdom Hearts bullshit is Final Fantasy bullshit."
Oh, because Final
So
Fantasy
good.
was convoluted long before Kingdom Hearts was convoluted?
I mean, yeah, like people, like some people. That's why I'm really interested in the discourse of Rebirth, because a lot of people, like with Remake, are going to complain that they like overcomplicated it and put in all this anime bullshit. And I'm like, this had the original 7, the original game had like one character die like 8 times
A
and come
man
back.
dropped from the
Like,
sky with his sword to stab somebody. If that doesn't scream anime bullshit, I don't know what does.
and then right after another guy has like dissociative PTSD, like screaming fits, raises his sword to his friends. And then the guy that descends turns into a giant fucking alien. Like,
Stepping on the beach.
I mean, well, it's funny because like even Final Fantasy, like the most oldest one I ever played and didn't beat, got right to the end, but never was able to beat Final Fantasy VI. If you ever want to see another convoluted fucking why is this plot the way it is, it just
everything. The original game, the first Final Fantasy had fucking time travel, had Magitech engines, and like had like a villain, especially if you agree that The Stranger in Paradise is canon, had a guy basically go back in time and become the villain to save the world. Stranger in Paradise is a gem. It's an absolute gem.
So it's over. This is an overall arching
use your words
plot line of pretty much every JRPG out there. Because Parker, I know you're a fan of the Tales series, but you never played Tales of Fantasia.
I
The very first one. Oh, you actually played it.
But I have it. Where is it? Ah, got it right here.
Let's see. Oh shit! Yeah, you do.
Can't really.
I mean,
it's not coming into focus.
It'll eventually come into focus. But yeah, no, fuck you. I don't know how far you got, but it's one of those ones you really should play because that is another one of those JRPG style games. You start playing. Oh, cool. I feel like I'm at the end. But wait, there's more. All right, we get past that point. But wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. And it never stops. How many times do you go through?
The best part was like the recent shit for Final Fantasy that came up. It was from a guy who's a huge fan of the Xeno series, as am I. And just without spoiling it, for any Xeno fan to say that Final Fantasy or something is too convoluted is fucking ridiculous. Xeno is just as bad. Like, it's shit on Kingdom Hearts for it, but in Xenoblade 3, there's like 10 versions of one character. And that is the case with multiple characters.
Isn't Xenoblade also where the main overarching thing is that they're children, and when they get to a certain age, they essentially die?
Xenoblade 3, yeah. They're basically bred. Yeah. They're basically, somebody created a world where all the people are basically only live for 10 years. They basically live from the age of about 11 to 21. And their entire thing is that if they don't fight enough, they die. And they fight to kill each other because the world has to exist in a perfect state of these two, perfectly balanced. If anybody fights too well, they will die. If anybody fights not good enough, they will die. It is depressing, and I love it. Xenoblade is wonderful.
I'm saying I'm never playing this game. I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole.
I will. There probably isn't a single, like, say what you will about Aerith in Final Fantasy or Celeste in FF6 or like any other terrifying moment or like depressing moment in a video game. Say Chapter 5 to a Xenoblade fan. Watch them crumble. We are still not okay.
I'm just gonna go around whispering Chapter 5 as if it's some sleeper agent's trigger phrase and see how many people. I'm gonna do it in an anime convention just to have the best chance.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Or if you want to get even better, just drop a flute in front of them, and they'll know. And they
really?
Here's the thing.
It hurts
Flutes
so
are
bad.
expensive. I will not be doing that.
No, you get yourself one of those cheap plastic recorders and drop it. That'll work, right?
No, that will make somebody happy that I dropped it and they will smash.
I have two flutes. Hold on. We get them. Hold on. They're very hidden in here. Hold on. Hold on. Hang on.
So by the way, while he goes to get that, my weekend started off in a great way.
Yeah, go on.
Well, Friday, Saturday, I was just randomly clicking around because I was working on some stuff because of stream things. And part of the front part of my mouse is broken off.
We love it when Daddy has
a
forceful
forceful
hand.
So the worst part about that is I was just casually clicking around, like no big deal, just click, click, and I'm like, why does my mouse feel so weird? Why does it feel so loose?
Why is it stabbing me in the hand?
Well, no, it won't stab me because like you can see it. It looks perfectly fine right now.
Okay.
Looks
fine.
But if
and it's gone.
Oh. Okay, fair enough.
So, like, you didn't do anything to make that happen, though.
No, I didn't. I was just casually clicking around, and then so I got up. I was casually clicking around, got up, and then like Carm was like, "Hey, do you want to play some Smite?" And I'm like, "Sure." I sat down, booted up Smite, and then when I went to go click and select my character, my mouse felt weird. I'm like, "Why does it feel so funky?" Oh, it's broken.
Oh no, our mouse! It's broken.
Okay. I got the box that has the mini flutes.
Mini flutes.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're replicas of because Noah and Mio, the two main characters in Xenoblade 3, both play the flute.
Now, can they
are
actually be played?
These ones can't. But the best part about it all is the two flutes that they use in game. Freaking Yasunori Mitsuda, also known for composing the greatest soundtrack of all time, Chrono Trigger, had the two flutes actually made. And he had them made so that they would both have a very unique sound, even among flutes. And they were the only ones used in the recording of the like off-seer stuff.
Sounds like
that's
actually
really
so cool. It's so cool.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, like the amount of work that was put into the soundtrack is phenomenal.
That's awesome.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
I'm trying to get my mouse click. There it is. It's back in place, and it fell out of place.
F.
You're doing great.
And it's back. It'll stay in place. I have a new mouse coming in tomorrow.
That's good.
Hopefully. I need this because especially since it's kind of hard to do a stream and play games when you can't really left click properly.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's really weird. To be fair, the game I plan on playing, I could play with controller, but I'm going to talk to my coworker. What's that?
If needed, yeah, it's something you can do. But I also know that if I remember right, with most games at this point, you just kind of prefer mouse and keyboard, don't you?
What game is it?
I do prefer mouse and keyboard. I even did GTA 5 on mouse and keyboard, include driving, flying planes. I learned how to fly a plane on mouse and keyboard. That is not easy, and it's Dragon's Dogma 2.
Oh,
so I even went to the effort to have a whole different scene. Like I could pull it up right now, and it's such a simple. Don't beep at me, computer. It's such a simple little scene that I have pulled up, where, oh shit, I got to update. All I have in my sources is this. And all I had to do is turn off that one little folder. And once I do that, my webcam is gone, my chat is gone, and the cat is gone. And those are the only three things I'm going to have up while I'm playing this game. It is a very, very particular game that I want to share an experience with. And this is going to be the first time I've ever done this.
You just snap the cat out.
Mm-hmm.
You just do the Marvel snap and just.
We're not Thanosing a cat out of his existence.
I don't know what happened. Look, all I know, I haven't watched a Marvel movie that didn't only have a guy in red tights that shoots webs since 2010.
Fair.
I think it was 2010. I don't know.
Something like that.
What was the? No. Because I watched one more when I was at. I watched a different one. No, when I was in Maryland for lacrosse recruitment when I was a teenager, we watched a Thor movie.
I don't think those have Spider-Man though.
No, so that's the last one that I watched. But beyond that, I watched the first Avengers. My sister made me.
You know what?
As we said, I got burned
real
out.
quick.
You okay?
I gotta go real quick. IBS.
Fair enough.
I mean, so they have their appeal.
We're gonna continue, by the way. I made a coworker disappointed in me yesterday. In the best
what did you do?
So they were asking what I was up to on the weekend. Just like, oh yeah, I finished building a 2 apartment complexes that I've been working on. And they're like, oh wow, you know how to do construction? I'm like, yeah. I got the walls put up. I got the table installed. I got everything taken care of. And he goes, wow, like, is that just a side hustle you have? I'm like, yeah, I typically stream myself doing those kind of things. He goes, do you have any pictures? Like, I'd love to see that. And I showed him the Lego set that I was working on. He goes,
I love it so much.
Motherfucker.
I love it so much.
I was very proud.
That's so good. That's such a powerful thing.
And you can kind of see it in the background there. It is all finished, along with the remnants of my dinner.
Absolutely gorgeous.
No, you.
The Uno reverse persona meme. I love that.
So to date this video a little bit, Easter is coming up next weekend, and we're having our D&D campaign a day before Easter. So what I am gonna do is give the characters the opportunity to find buffs hidden in Easter eggs in my backyard.
Oh my god, that's so good.
I may not be the best DM out there, but I try my best.
I mean, if the people have a good time, you're a good DM.
Exactly.
Like says the guy with no DMing experience.
What I was about to ask, you like D&D, you just don't get to play often, if I'm remembering right?
It's so it's like I don't dislike D&D, but it's like any of the games that I've played, especially because all the games I've played have been online.
Yeah.
To commit that much and have these like multi-hour sessions every week just isn't worth it.
Fair.
And it's just not something I care for.
That's fair.
But like I see why people love it. And if I ever had like nothing else to play for a good while, I would probably pick up Baldur's Gate.
Okay.
And play it. Like, I don't dislike D&D. It's just the amount of commitment for it.
That's fair. We
just couldn't care.
We do every other weekend for that reason. Like, one, because I can't say, hey, every weekend work, you can't schedule me on Saturdays, even though that's one of our busiest days. But every other Saturday, they're totally cool with. But yeah, like we sit down probably about 3 o'clock, play till about 8:30, do like a small 15-minute break, and then just do that every 2 weeks. But it is very much a time commitment. I've had players ask if we could do weekly, and I'm like, no. Even when I had a job that was guaranteed Saturdays off, absolutely not, because my sanity will not allow that.
Yeah, like you have lives. And so, it was just not something that really spoke to me to that extent. Like, I get, like, Carm will send me clips of, like, Critical Role and stuff, especially because anytime Sam Riegel does something, he is my favorite actor, so...
He's such a good voice actor and actor in general.
It's still really funny, because all the interviews I saw, all the clips I saw of him was talking about one very specific character that's probably the most, like, genuinely serious and intense character he ever played. So I had a very, very fun awakening to what he actually is as a person, learning that he is just an absolute shitpost, a walking shitpost.
Yeah.
So good.
So it's funny you say that too, because I mentioned the D&D scheduling stuff, I should say. The one group that I basically said, hey, I'm not gonna be able to play anymore, because I didn't even tell them that I have a podcast. I'm doing a podcast thing. I just told them, I can't play anymore because I'm too busy. Yeah, you can keep saying hi, you son of a bitch. They used to do it weekly, every weekend, same time, same.
I can't
same
do
thing.
that.
So it's something I realized too. It's like I like D&D. I love D&D. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
These people that I were playing with were obsessed with it. Some of them have multiple games going a week. Like, guys,
it's
do
ridiculous.
something else.
Like,
my cousin even. So my cousin's mom and my mom are sisters, and they're basically the same person. And all of us grew up in the same town. Our parents both still live in childhood homes and all that. But I moved about 40 minutes north from my hometown. My cousin moved to a city about an hour south, give or take the drive, depending on how shit the traffic on the QE2 is. That's the highway in Alberta.
Canadian.
Yeah. We could do a whole trivia thing of me just listing Canadian things and saying how well you guys do. Anyway, he every Saturday, if not every other Saturday, drives back to his hometown just to play D&D. And I'm like, even if you stay at your parents'
how far
of
a drive is that?
If he doesn't hit rush hour traffic, if he gets ideal conditions, about an hour. If he hits rush hour coming out of the city, he is very close to doubling that.
Like, an hour isn't too bad, but like, this is also somebody that I drove 35 plus minutes to work every day.
I mean, I used to drive to work in my city and I didn't hate it.
Yeah, so
until gas prices got terrible.
An hour doesn't seem to be that bad, especially if it's just once a week. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but like 4 hours a month, 52-ish hours a year. I mean, that's not.
That doesn't seem bad.
Yeah, that's not.
But that's still a commitment.
But I will say that again, you're also saying ideal conditions. If it's 2 hours and we're doubling that, then that's. Yeah. It's still not much, but it's very frustrating. I can see.
I also laugh when I say that because when I was a teenager in my hometown and I was doing all of my lacrosse training and I was seeing scouts and I was going to the COP and all that stuff. Like I was 4 or 5 times a week I was driving an hour one way to on like school nights and stuff just to do more lacrosse stuff. Whether it was going for practices, whether it was for training sessions, workouts, whatever they were.
Just different passions.
Yeah.
Because like the
gas was also dirt cheap back then.
Also fair. The most like because you were mentioning the whole like multiple campaigns. I had my campaign that I was running. We ran it for about 2 years. I started them at level 5, went all the way to level 20, closed everybody's storyline. I am the only one of our friend group to ever start and finish a campaign. And granted, there were some problem players that got weeded out through that duration. But then, and that was every other Saturday, but then every other Wednesday, Ronifero was DMing a campaign, and it was just kind of one of those things of that was the most that I was ever playing D&D is just that every other Wednesday, every other Saturday. Yeah.
I just don't see how you can keep it up, like especially like Bricker, you got a family, like I just can't.
Well, it helps. I will say that the wife plays too, so that definitely helps because we're still able to spend time together even if it is in character. And we kind of have a strict rule that it has to be at our house or online, preferably at our house. This way the kiddo can still hang out with us, hang out with our friends. Yeah. So it's one of those things of, if you don't like my kid, you're probably not going to be invited.
Yeah, and which makes sense. Honestly really good. And especially, like, I'm sure it's really good for kids. Like, I don't know, I'm really interested in, like, our generation, a lot of people becoming parents, like, if many of them do stuff like this and kind of, like, just don't, like, I don't know. I feel like you like there's probably a few that spend more time doing this than, like, with their kid and how that like, negatively impacts a child growing up. So doing it the way that you guys do is probably the best.
What we started, what I've done a couple times is I'll have the kiddo come up, roll the dice, and it's a lot easier to hear that you're getting hit with a nat 20 from an adorable 6-year-old than it is a grizzled 32-year-old man.
Does your kid actually just say, "Oh, a 20, yeah"?
Yeah, basically, because he's like, "Yeah, that's the best I could get." And I'm like, "It sure is, buddy. Roll damage." Yeah, there was one time
and murder's
dealt,
not on
like,
your hands.
exactly. Well, and I told somebody they took like 52 hit points of damage, and I just hear my kid in the background being the best hype man going, "That's a lot of damage."
That's a lot of damage.
But yeah, I mean,
just have Phil Swifting him.
I don't understand why people, like, I guess, don't get me wrong, like, you should still have activities that are separate from your kid, because you do need to still feel like a person overall. But I don't understand why these people have kids just to essentially abandon them and not let them around their friends, not let them do any type of activities with them. Like, my kid I mean, the only reason he didn't tonight is because it was after his bedtime. But like, he literally comes down here and talks to you guys.
It's legitimately hype as hell. I mean, I'll say it, as much as I love seeing my parents, my aunt, my uncle, and my cousin, the best thing about going back to my hometown is seeing my two nieces, my cousin's two daughters, or not my girlfriend. When I was seeing a woman about a year ago, her introducing me and like formally, because I met her in like a group setting with a bunch of people and her kid was there, but like actually being formally introduced and hanging out with her and her kid was legit some of the best times I had with them. Like, so these kids, I'd still actually like wouldn't necessarily like ever associate with her. I'd hang out with the kid. I'd go play video games with the kid.
Yeah, well, and that's like cool. With Ronifero's kid. Like, I've known his kid literally since the day that she was born, and because of that, like, when she started coming around playing D&D with us, like, she wasn't shy around me. She knew exactly who I was. She wasn't scared to ask questions. Like, it's a good thing to be able to have relationships with your friends' kids, because if they trust you, it means that obviously you can keep the friendship going with your friend, and two, they may tell you things that they may be scared to tell their parents, and you may be able to help them, kind of situation. We've all seen shit like that go south.
My older niece actually has gotten to that point. She's a pretty sensitive girl. Like you look at her the wrong way and she will be legitimately like worried about it. It might even
wears her heart on her
become it might even be a bit of an episode. And I've had numerous times where, like, a couple weeks ago we all went to their house for her birthday, and I was like, and she gets really nervous talking, especially about like certain things, and so I was like, no, come with me, come with your uncle, we'll go into your room, I'll take as long as you need, just sit, and whatever you want to tell me that you can't tell your mom. Obviously, like, if it's a little thing, like she's like, oh, I had a little spat with another couple kids, I'm not gonna, if she ever said anything like drastic, of course I'd be like, I'd immediately go to her mom and be like, you need to know what she just said. Whatever I think would be in the best interest of the kid. But I know that for her, she has me, she has my sister, and she has her mom's two siblings. My two other cousins. Like, she's 4 extra adults at least that she can always turn to. And I know it probably means a lot for her to have that option.
Yep.
It's just that extra voice. It's the same thing I'm going to be for my nephew.
Yeah, and that's like with my kid. Like, I try to listen first and then act second. There was one day that he was just throwing tantrum after tantrum. He was super angry and everything else. And I finally sat down. I'm like, are you having big feelings today? And he said, yeah. And I'm like, do you want a hug? And he said, yeah. He came over, he gave me a hug. And we just stayed like that. Like, I was leaning against the wall, just hugging him up to my chest for a good 5 minutes. Rest of the day, 0 issues. Sometimes kids
literally
just
need to talk to him.
Yeah, like that's the thing that people don't understand, is that a lot of kids, especially, are experiencing this world for the first time. The 3 of us, we've already been beaten down by the world. Kids are still learning what that feels like. They're still learning that the weight of the world is in fact on their shoulders. We're already downtrodden and tired. Pay attention to your kids.
My knees hurt.
Well,
exactly.
And not only that, but I think of my nieces, and my youngest niece, she was born in 2018. She was and she spent the first year and a bit of her life going through a few different health complications, spent a lot of time in the hospital.
And then COVID right afterwards.
Exactly. The first 5 years of her life were rampant with hospital visits and a fucking pandemic. These kids don't like half of us didn't know what, like none of us knew what the hell to do, how to respond to any of this going on. How can we expect children to? And of course it like has impacted them adversely. And even if I don't always work directly with the kids, like I work for a youth center, I see a lot of these kids who are still struggling with the idea of coming out of their shell. Teenagers, even some adults, you still see that reticence, that hesitance to do things, because we went through an unprecedented couple of years there.
Well, and not only that, but a thing, and thankfully it does seem like parents are realizing that their words have impact, but like at some point or another, if you see adults hesitating to say something that they may be excited about, they were probably told at one point that they talk too much.
That was me. Well, not that I was told too much, but I was part of two groups, didn't fit in with either of them. I was too nerdy to hang out with the people I played sports with. I was too much of a jock asshole to hang out with the nerds. All my interests were not something I wanted to share because I was memed for it. Never wanted to care.
It's funny too that you mentioned that. It's like, oh yeah, that person was probably someone who was told they talk too much. My girlfriend is actually one of those people who was told she talks too much, and I just let her go off and let her talk, and that's just what makes her day so much fucking better.
Let her cook. It is amazing every time she cooks. Like holy shit, every time her and Brick are going off, and I'm getting a billion Discord notifications.
My thing is I'm just like, why would you like? Why do you want to downtrod on somebody just being themselves? Like I will say that I playfully shit talk her when she sends like 1,000 messages. I'm like, if my phone was on vibrate, you would have just dry humped me right now.
Yeah. Well,
I need to use that for
Shift Enter does exist. Return key does exist.
But
the unfortunate part is her mindset literally is, after she gets the words out, she needs to get the words out now, otherwise she will forget them.
The thing is,
that's why she does the way she does it.
I do that, like I have done that multiple times. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, especially with how 2020 and beyond has gone, it's one of those things of, we have had to adjust, kids have had to adjust, everybody's had to adjust. Like with my kid, he was turning 3 in 2020, and about that time we had just moved. We were starting to get the autism diagnoses and everything else, but instead of being able to go to the normal therapies, group activities, stuff like that, to be able to, kind of help him figure out how the world works, couldn't do any of that. Park visits, and the parks that were near us were actually all gated off because you couldn't go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very weird time. However, I will say a lot of people found themselves during that time too.
You learned a lot. A lot of people found interests, found new hobbies, and I mean, even like you talking kids, one image that will forever be burned into my brain, because my youngest niece was born March of 2016, or my oldest niece was born March 2016, and the goober, the chaos gremlin, the younger one, was born in July of 2018. And I didn't feel like I was super close to them early on. But 2019, when I graduated college, had to move back to my hometown while I looked for full-time work, started to get a little close. And I know that they started to really care for me, and one image that is burned into my brain is like 2 days after things shut down, after the sports closed, I went to just drop off, I think, some food at their house. And I remember opening the door, and their door opened right into a stairway. And I remember my oldest niece running down the stairs to give me a hug, and her parents having to pull her back. And like that image fucking hurts.
Yeah.
That genuinely hurts to think about. But that's what the world was.
Because the thing is, we didn't know. Like, when the job that I was at was assigned to work from home, I want to say like March 18th or 19th.
Yeah, around there.
My boss at the time said, yeah, this will probably only be for a couple days, maybe a couple weeks kind
2 weeks.
Of situation.
Everyone said 2 weeks.
And then...
Longest 2 weeks of my life.
Yeah, and then a month passes, and they're like, okay, we're going to extend it out to 6 months. Not even the full 6 months happen, and they go, you know what? A lot of you are doing... Just just go ahead and work at home forever. I'm like, okay, I can deal with that. Little did I know that by 2022, I was absolutely miserable, depressed, and dreading every single day of it. So when I got fired, it was a double-edged sword. I was happy as hell, but I was like, oh, I have bills.
Yeah,
I've got bills.
They're multiplying. But I have a surprise for you all. Today, for the quiz between you two, I'm calling it nerdy knowledge from now on because I love alliteration.
Nerdy knowledge.
Today is anime quotes. Knowledge. I'm going to give you a quote.
Oh, you bitch.
I'm going to give you 3 choices, and you're going to guess what anime it's from.
I don't
character
like
it says, or the show, or
just the show. Because I feel like if I asked you to list the character, we would be here for a while.
So I was always going to say it's Goku because there's like 80 Gokus.
That's fair.
I think.
Yeah, which Goku? This Goku.
Parker won. That's all you need to know. Parker won. Congrats.
Wreck nerd.
Fucking bitch.
Quote number 1. Human strength lies in the ability to change yourself. A. One Punch Man. B. Ouran High School Club. C. Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball.
I hate that it fits for all of these, and that's what makes me so mad. So I want to give you One Punch.
I just want to point out, by the way, this man, when we first started this, he's going to be like, oh, every single one is going to be A. These are going to be so easy. Go back to episode 2 to see him shit-talking. But in this case, he is correct. It is One Punch Man.
I don't know why. It just felt like One Punch Man. Everything else just like, this is too much. Too much. This seems like some sort of dumb shit that would be said in One Punch.
To be fair, too much perfectly describes literally every anime known to man.
They are very
almost, but yes.
Number 2. You can die anytime, but living takes true courage. A. Trigun. B. Rurouni Kenshin. C. Yu Yu Hakusho.
B.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
It's Rurouni Kenshin.
It is Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah,
I never watched it.
God,
so. You would love it. I bet.
So long.
There's
it's
so many.
Such a good one. Well,
so
if I remember correctly, one of the early episodes in there too was this guy basically had this giant fucking sword. This sword was meant to cleave. Yeah, it was meant to cleave both human and horse at the same time. Rurouni Kenshin broke it, and then he just ended up becoming, I think, a martial artist from that.
No, he did end up getting. So he was he was always kind of a skilled street fighter, not the video game. He did eventually get the sword fixed. It was actually this like big debut of one of the arcs. He's like, by the way, this is back, and just starts swinging wild.
Yeah. That's fucking incredible. I did, and I don't know why, but that quote just reminded me of him in particular.
That's fair. Let's see. People who continue to put their lives on the line to defend their faith become heroes and continue to exist on in legend. A. Dragon Ball Z. B. Attack on Titan. C. Naruto.
C.
AOT.
It is Naruto. You're doing quite well this, baby, Rhino. Holy shit.
To be fair, my
defense,
out of all the animes, I've watched one.
That's fair.
Has even been listed.
You got a 33% chance.
The thing is, too, is like I've seen all of these. I barely remember, if anything, of them. I don't know why. It was the Living Legends part of that line.
Yeah, because their faces are literally carved on a mountain.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's only in the Hidden Leaf.
Yeah. Forgetting is like a wound. The wound may heal, but it has already left a scar. A. Bleach. B. Code Geass. C. One Piece.
Let's be Code Geass.
I'm gonna guess Bleach.
You are both incorrect. It is
Wait, that was a One Piece close?
Yep.
I've been watching One Piece!
And that's exactly what I thought.
Yep.
That's what I thought, because I was like, if it's One Piece, he'll immediately pop off that it was One Piece. So I already know I'm down to a 50-50, so I was like, whatever he doesn't say. Because he didn't immediately say it with sheer confidence, so I was like, that's the one.
And that was a Monkey D. Luffy quote, too.
What was it again?
Forgetting is like a wound. The wound may heal, but it has already left a scar.
Hold on, now I gotta look up when this happens.
You're just gonna get spoiled on an entire arc.
Probably. Monkey D. Fucking, there's a paperback you can get of it off of Amazon. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
This was 3 months ago. When the fuck was this quote said? Oh wait, hold on. Here, I got a TikTok. Ow, my eye.
On the clock, but the party don't stop tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunrise.
That song's gonna get banned. I heard the Americans wanted to ban it.
Oh no, they want to ban the app. They don't want to ban the song TikTok by
Kesha. I think it's funnier to imagine them banning a random Kesha song that's 15 years old.
All right, that's fair. I mean, that literally screams old white man energy. So yeah,
it's actually probably I'm gonna hurt myself and look it up now. How old?
I can't figure out when it was exactly said, but if I had to guess, it's
2010.
during the Wano arc, and I'm not even near the Wano arc, so that makes sense.
We've got two more.
2909. No, 2009 it was released. Jesus. So it is 15 years old.
Nope, don't want to talk about that. Next quote.
Felt that in my back.
I've gained freedom, and yet it's so lonesome. A. Fruits Basket. B. Ouran High School Club. C. Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Fruits Basket.
Parker is correct.
Damn it.
See, I figured the other two again. He would have known. And he would have responded pretty quick on.
Oh, do you like Ouran High School Club?
You got the other one, so it's all in.
Okay, fair enough.
My answers now are just going off of what he does.
Hey, you know what? Maybe I should shut up and just let you pick.
That's true. Last one. Never trust anyone too much. Remember, the devil was once an angel. A. Tokyo Ghoul. B. Inuyasha. C. Digimon.
That sounds like Tokyo Ghoul.
Was it Inuyasha?
It was Tokyo Ghoul.
Tokyo Ghoul is a really fucked up anime from what I remember.
The reason that I brought in Digimon is because
it sounds like
how much of the original Digidestin do y'all remember?
Are you talking about Angelmon?
Or something? Yeah, so
you
literally
bitch.
Well, no, because literally at the end of the first season, and I only remember this because I watched some of it while I was work at home, there is literally a quote about how two angels will ascend to the sky and shoot arrows through the hearts of children. And I'm like, this is kind of fucked up for a show made for 8-year-olds.
I still, and my buddy Ryan is the one who showed it to me, but in the first, in one of the Digimon movies that he came over last year for his birthday, and all he wanted to do, he's like, the only thing I want to do, I found the Digimon movies, can we watch them? And we did, and the English dub, I forget exactly what it is, how it works out, but it's basically like there's this super traumatic, devastating Digimon self-sacrifice to save the world or something, but the English movie just kind of completely skips over it, and while this guy's dying, they just play fucking All-Star.
So, oh my god, so fun fact about that, this lives rent-free in my head, because for whatever reason, while All-Star is playing, one of the main characters looks at him dancing and just jiving All-Star and goes, he's tone deaf, and that's it. That's the end of the movie. It just goes to the credits right afterwards. It is the weirdest dubberism I've ever seen.
It's better than your classic jelly donuts bullshit.
Oh, another fun okay. This one,
okay.
It's a little spicy, but it's also one of my favorites. In Dragon Ball Super, there is a Goku Black arc. And I shit you not, in the dub, Goku transports to this alternate timeline. All these guns are pointed at him, and without a moment's hesitation, Trunks yells, "Don't shoot! He's not black!" And then that's the end of the line. I'm like, they had to have known what they were doing.
Lost in translation?
I don't know. However, when that line was super, super popular, watching some of amazing African-American content creators reacting to that on TikTok was a gem that I adored.
Hold on, I'm going to look this up.
A lot of them thought that it was hilarious. A couple of them were like, hold up now.
It's the greatest dub of all time. Without question, without hesitation, because it's a dub that's so ridiculous is it changes the fucking genre of the show. It changes it from a horror to dark comedy is Ghost Stories. It is the greatest.
God.
So, Bricker, do you not know this?
No.
So it was a super popular manga, and it was supposed to just be like, it had a star-studded cast in Japan. It was supposed to be incredible. It fucking flopped. It fucking crumbled. It was the fucking 2019 Stanley Cup playoffs levels of first overall teams just getting dumped.
I don't know what that
level
means.
Of disappointment. All of the first 4 teams in the league got blown up as soon as the playoffs started. It was hilarious. My team was one of those teams. I hate hockey. I hate sports. I hate my life.
Fair enough.
Anyway, it was so bad that when they came to dub it, they basically said to the dub team, "We don't really care what you do. Follow the plot. We just wanted to make money." So they basically pulled in all the actors and were like, "Let's just fucking go unhinged." So you have some of the most ridiculous fourth wall breaks, some of the most ridiculous lines of all time in it. Ghost Stories. I think it's on Crunchy. It's absolutely incredible.
I'm gonna have to take a look at this because that sounds incredible.
They change one character from a slightly reticent, just like kind of hesitant, reserved girl to a born-again, aggressive levels of born-again Christian who's constantly like, "Have you just accepted Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior?" And they make another kid Jewish. So there's just so many bits of her randomly saying something about like, "You accept Jesus Christ." And I'm just going, "But I'm Jewish."
It sounds like, literally, it sounds like Dragon Ball Z abridged.
That's pretty much, like, from what I understand,
they just made an abridged version of it.
Yeah, like, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah. It's absolutely wild, and the jokes do get pretty dicey, but man, like, they're just, let's go as ridiculous as we can.
Yeah, like, Gohan, for example, is a character, for those that don't know, Parker, I assume you don't because you don't watch DBZ, is a character that when he gets angry, he gets more powerful. So what the TFS DBZA version did was when he got angry, he still got more powerful, but he would still say super smart things. Like, to one of the bad guys, he said, "I'm gonna fornicate with your cranium." Guy didn't understand it, so he said, "I'm gonna skull fuck you."
Yeah.
So, like, that abridged versions just live rent-free in my head 24/7.
That's the thing. But yeah, Ghost Stories is
I'm gonna have to take
absolutely
a look at this.
wild.
We
all watched it.
Like, is it multiple seasons, or is it, I'm
assuming
it didn't get...
I think it's
one season, yeah.
Let's see
but,
here.
Like, if I was, like, the biggest thing about it too was, I think you said it, but they had no direction.
Episodes.
Yeah,
like it was literally, here's the basic plot, follow it, but basically do whatever you want. Yeah. And like they took it literally, and it is honestly, it took a show that, while it should have been great, is pretty much just nothing. Like, no one really thinks about it, and it is something of legend. It's something that would never happen again.
Yeah.
And It's so good.
So, speaking of shows that'll never happen again, do y'all remember shows like when they started coming out? Like, anime took a weird turn probably around 2010 when it started releasing shows like Bo.
Okay, but Bo is a good show.
So, and that's what I was gonna
It's
ask. Like, do
ridiculous.
you find
Never watched it.
yourselves enjoying shows that are legit shows, not just people being unhinged and feral for 20 minutes, that are just goofy with very little plot, or do you typically tend to stay away from that? Because, like, for me, I prefer a show to have, like, at least a little bit of plot, something for me to sink my teeth into kind of deal, but I can see why people would enjoy it.
You know, if you ever want yourself an over-the-top anime that is really insane and out there, but has a very good plot and keeps it going forward throughout every season, you should go watch JoJo.
There it is. What a bizarre anime.
It is. Because it goes from initially the original idea was, and the first 2 seasons show on this was, it was going to be essentially a kung fu show about using this thing called Haman, which is like, breathing techniques in order to fight each other. Well, the creator got called out and saying, this is too generic. So he said, fuck you, I'm not going to make it generic anymore. Everyone now has these stands that are invisible to anyone else who doesn't have a stand.
So, I will say that show did make one of the best memes born with the you thought it was blank, but it was me, Dio. My all-time favorite was at my old job. There was a security desk that had 2 spots where security guards would sit, divided by a panel of glass. And one security guard, whenever he was on break, he would hang up this sign that would say, "You thought it was your typical security guard, but in fact it was me, Dio." And then below that in parentheses, it would say, "Please step to the right to see the security guard."
So good. No, like I definitely prefer something with a plot. Fair. Like something that actually does move forward. But I also do love absolutely unhinged fucking nonsense.
That's fair.
2 of the greatest examples for me. I mean, the one kind of has a plot structure in Hinamatsuri. It kind of does. It's real good. It's about a guy in the Yakuza who just has a magical alien girl just randomly appear at his apartment.
All right.
And then all of a sudden you have a middle schooler who's working at a bar mixing drinks and going on a pub crawl with a bunch of businessmen. It is just wild.
That sounds dangerous.
It's legitimately hilarious. It also has very wholesome moments about people who are suffering from homelessness. The other one, like, it's genuinely a great show.
Yeah.
The other one, and this is probably, like, this is a top 5 favorite anime of all time for me. Cromartie High School. It is fucking deranged. It was a really good show, but one of the best bits from it is this character does something ridiculous and gets sent to a school of delinquents. The first episode begins and he says, "You want to know how I got here? If you really want to know, go read the manga." It's so good. And then the first bit in the show is this guy is like, he's always writing his mom. And he's writing, "Dearest mother," and then he drops his pencil. And the guy sitting next to him picks it up and is holding it to him. He goes, "Oh, thanks, I dropped that." And he just eats it. He just eats the pencil. So the next thing this guy does is dump his whole pencil case out. And the guy, sure enough, grabs them all and just... It's absolutely amazing.
That good graphite.
It also has a recurring bit where there's a gorilla who just appears. And there's also... his name is Mekazawa, just a regular, normal high school boy, nothing out of the ordinary, with a really soothing voice. And there's also a guy who's just Freddie Mercury. His name is Freddie. He never says anything, but he's just Freddie Mercury.
He's just Freddie. He says never nothing, but he's Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just Freddie.
I accept it. I'm on board.
There's this bit in one of the shows, one of the episodes, where the main character and his best bud, they're in class, and they're mad at Freddy because he's in one of their seats, and the two of them are just sitting there going, Freddy, they're slapping his head. They're like, Freddy, why are you in our seat? Freddy, why are you in my seat? Come on, Freddy, that's his seat. And then somebody yells at them, you're in the wrong class. They keep slapping him. Just go, Freddy, we're in the wrong class.
What
Did you imagine that? We're in the wrong class.
Free time?
It's so good. Cromartie High School is amazing, and everyone should watch it.
Never heard of this.
It's legit one of my all-time favorites. It's so fucking good.
Admittedly, I'm more into the first one that you told by the sounds of things.
Hina Matsuri is also
I might end up having to check out both. But I do want you at some point do yourself a favor and watch Rurouni Kenshin. I think that it would be right up your
someday. I'm sure it would.
Well, yeah. When is time? Baby, don't hurt.
Literally, all I do, that's why I do reaction episodes now, because it gives me I'm able to watch it now.
It's there's so many shows, and I just started in honor of the man. Now that it just started coming out on Disney Plus, I started watching the Sandland show. Real good.
R.I.P. Akira.
It's a Toriyama show.
Yep, and there's a video game coming out of it as well. I think
the video game
looks already released.
The demo is released. I haven't touched the demo, but the game looks legitimately great.
It looks
from what
incredible.
I've seen, and I want to play it. So
it looks like a lot of fun. I didn't know it was an actual anime. I thought it was just a game called Sandland coming out, and it looked fucking ridiculous.
No, it's quite enjoyable.
Possible trigger warning here for anybody watching.
I'll trigger your warning.
Do you typically end up how much do celebrity deaths typically affect you guys? Like, is it something you're
Never.
Like, meh, I move on? Does it depend on the celebrity? Like,
so here's the thing: there's a lot of celebrities out there I genuinely like. I genuinely think they're good. If I was just told Jack Black died next day, I'd be like, okay, and move on with my life, because I don't know them personally.
That's fair.
They have never affected me in any personal way. They have been actors and such, doing actor things, but that's being an actor. I've seen them as humans too, but I don't know them personally, so I don't feel anything.
It also, for me, it depends on what happened. Like death is tragic. Right?
Yeah.
Like death sucks regardless of how you die. But there are certain situations around people that if I hear that story, like, it sucks. It sucks to hear. And yeah, there are some, usually celebrities just are, for the most part, that sucks. Condolences to their families, but it can't really impact me. And then you have Chester Bennington and Robin Williams, too, that actually legitimately impacted me as two artists that I grew up really idolizing. Akira Toriyama is kind of like the what's his name? The guy who wrote Berserk. That's one that, like, I never read Berserk or watched it, but that creator passing, I wouldn't say it makes me sad, but it makes me mad to hear the circumstances around his death. That this is someone who was basically worked to death in an industry that forces people to grind.
Yeah.
And I hate seeing as much as it's easy to it's easy to paint off celebrities and go, they don't, whatever, they're rich people, they don't care, but they are still people, and a lot of them have been thrust into pretty horrible conditions. Yeah, they make a lot of money. Yeah, they're famous and renowned for a lot of people, but like, you read like Jeanette McCurdy's book about what her mom was like, and now the documentary, and hearing like what Dan Schneider did to like all the kids on his shows. You wouldn't wish that on anyone. Like, if someone in my family, if someone I knew, they or one of their children went through that, like, I'm going to prison if I find the person responsible.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, like, that they were kind of talking about, is that kind of hearing what Drake Bell went through, it's one of those things of, no, it doesn't forgive him for what he did, but it does make it make sense.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the Quiet on Set thing. Granted, again, kind of dating this. It's only been out for what, 3 days now, I think. Maybe 4 at most. Like
just came
hit
out.
the world by storm. Um the fact that Dan Schneider is not in jail is insanity to me.
I have no idea what has even happened.
So Dan Schneider, he ran a lot of Nickelodeon shows, and essayed.
Oh wait, I heard something about
Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon.
He essayed Drake
This
Bell
is what you heard.
repeatedly. There was one time that he would give Drake Bell drinks that were laced with something. Drake Bell woke up with Dan Schneider on top of him, doing things to him while he was unconscious. There were scenes that were very suggestive of teenage girls. Like, there were times that they would be on set chatting happily. Dan Schneider comes there, and then they immediately like try covering themselves more. Just an all around absolute creep.
And like, you can look back, and a lot of us as kids didn't realize it, but like the Dan Schneider shows that I watched, I believe, Zoe 101 and iCarly were the two that I watched. I was like 10 when they came out, and
for me, it was I want to say it was a Dan Schneider show, Drake and Josh.
Yeah. Drake and Josh I also watched a fair bit of, because I'm pretty sure I'm like the same age as her. I had a crush on Miranda Cosgrove, as probably most young boys my age did. When we were that age. But I look back and I'm like, the amount of like, in the same way that people make jokes about Totally Spies, like the amount of questionable content. And the difference being Totally Spies was an animated show that didn't have anything.
Yeah.
And the joke there is that it awoke people to things and not
because the spandex
not abused children.
So
There's another, and this example won't mean much to the two of you, I'm aware, but it came to light in the 2000s. There was a very prolific hockey coach in Canada in the 70s and 80s. Name is Graham James, and he abused a lot of his players, and a lot of their players in the 2000s, Sheldon Kennedy and Theoren Fleury being probably the two most iconic examples, wrote books about what he did to them and how it impacted them. And like, Sheldon Kennedy has become a hero basically with how he responded to it, how he handled it, how he overcame drug addiction and whatnot. Theoren Fleury became a bit of a nut job, like a right-wing conservative, like not just if you're a conservative you're crazy, but like legitimately some conspiracy tinfoil hat bullshit. But you look at what those people went through, and you're like,
you can't blame them.
It's awful.
With the kind of still in the same vein of the Dan Schneider thing, there's one show, I can't even remember what the name of the show was, but Ariana Grande was on it when she was a teenager. And Rhino,
Salmon Cat.
Okay, this will give you a good idea of what type of person he was. There was a whole scene about her trying to get juice out of a potato. She's holding the potato like this, moving her hands like this, while having her mouth open, trying to juice said potato.
You know, there's a lot of things back in the days when you watch this stuff, you don't think much of it. Then you become an adult, you look at it, even if nothing else is happening, you look at it as an adult and you're like, you know, something's wrong about this. Something's very wrong about
this. And this is one of those moments.
Yeah.
I think I was waiting for something. I think I was waiting for people, and I had opened YouTube, and I was watching. I think I'd watched like a Parks and Rec video, but it turned into a rabbit hole, and it was a video of like hilarious within the show moments from iCarly. And I went, and I remember this was like probably 3-4 years ago, and I was like, there's a lot of like things that seem to be like, There's a lot of what seemed to be like foot fetish play here.
Yeah, well,
and I'm like, I never noticed this as a kid. Which is funny because
you never think about it.
In the same show that you were talking about with Ariana Grande, he had her sucking on her toe at one point.
Yeah.
Because like the whole point of the video was like, oh, you're not supposed to be able to lick your own toes. I'm gonna see if it's possible, and she sticks her foot in her mouth. There's also a scene of iCarly where like a water fountain is apparently going haywire, shooting across the hallway, and like Miranda has to get down close to being on her knees, looking up in the air with her mouth open, kind of thing. And it's like,
yeah,
this is again, as kids, we would have never thought twice about it.
And the worst part is like a lot of those scenes, those kids probably didn't think.
Yeah. They just thought they were having fun with a water fountain spraying towards them.
And and then you add in someone like Jeanette McCurdy, who not only dealt with that bullshit, but then had a stage parent
and
who abused her as well.
Isn't the name of her book like "I'm Glad You're Dead" or something?
Yeah, I'm glad my mom died.
Yeah, and I don't blame her after hearing what she went through. Like,
I mean, if
she got dealt the worst possible hand going into entertainment.
Yeah, and anyone who has had a relative, especially a relative in a situation where historically or traditionally you should be able to unquestionably trust them, had an adult break that trust irreparably.
Yep. Well,
it's
crazy because you also have shows like, for example, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I'll just use that as an example. As far as I know, there was never really anything questionable about it. I mean, there were, of course, the teenage boy hormone moments, but, like, then there were these amazing moments of the, yes, the Perndle bar. Do you want me to turn the radio on to am or
I believe Mr. Mosby's actor, and I think it was before the show, was convicted of, was convicted of murder. Beyond that,
but it was
obviously not condoning that. Yeah, and obviously not condoning that, but that's basically the only thing. And
it's crazy because he's in so many shows.
So, I mean, people are people, though. Yeah. Matthew Broderick killed a guy.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
In the 80s, I believe it was.
Damn.
Yeah, I think it might have been drunk driving. Don't quote me on that.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
what was that, Matthew Broderick?
Yeah. I believe.
Our look-up-inator is at work.
A fact checker is at it. Put him to work today, boys. There are quite a few.
On August 5th, 1987, while driving a rented car outside of Tempo, Northern Ireland, Broderick crossed into the wrong lane and collided head-on with another car, killing the driver and her mother.
Oh.
So yes, he did kill somebody because he was driving on the wrong side of the car, or wrong side of the road.
Well, yeah.
I feel like he shouldn't have why
you went full T-Pain there for a second.
Yep, I noticed. I felt it. Suddenly everything was not going well. Yeah, how is it that something like this happens yet they still get out of it and still move on forward?
Do you want to know why?
That's a literal double homicide, essentially. Yeah,
money and fame. Meanwhile,
Matthew Broderick was part of one of the biggest movies in the 80s.
Then you've got Alec Baldwin, who I still believe was slightly at fault, but also the person that, checks the guns and handles the guns before they go on set should absolutely be taking more of the blame.
There's no reason that should ever happen.
No, well, and the thing is, there are reports of the guns randomly misfiring on set, even when they weren't in use. I'm like, literally everybody before Alec Baldwin should be blamed because they should have gotten rid of those guns.
Yeah. In the first fucking place.
Yeah.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, beforehand, I think there's supposed to be, like, especially in, like, Hollywood productions, there's supposed to be someone who any weapon is supposed to go through rigorous screening before it's even allowed anywhere near the set. And I believe that came after Spike Lee, or no, not Spike.
No, there was something before that.
Bruce Lee's son.
I thought his name was Spike.
No, I don't think so.
Brandon Lee.
Brandon Lee, that's right, yeah.
Who passed in the 90s. Yeah.
And that was on the
accident on set.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, like
that was on
it's
the
one
Crow,
of those
wasn't
things
it?
is yes. I'm
Yeah.
like, why is Alec Baldwin being blamed for, like, man was literally following through with the motions that he's supposed to do.
He's an actor. He was acting.
Right. Like,
there were people who
else
used
are the
it
ones
as
that drop the ball.
There were people who used it as a means to shit on Alec Baldwin. And whatever you think of the man or his personal beliefs, that's fine. But like, they were shitting on him because they were like, "Oh, the anti-gun guy does this." It's like, okay, but by that logic, like, is Keith Silverstein a genocidal fuck Jesus, a genocidal maniac? I know how to speak English, I promise. Because he played characters that were interested in that. Is Matthew Mercer a fucking vampire?
Well, there may be some truth.
Okay, that one.
Yeah, poor example, but I see where you're going with this.
Is Kevin Spacey an asshole because he played an asshole in Call of Duty? Okay, that was a bad one.
Is Keanu Reeves a homicidal maniac?
Yeah.
Well, didn't he go crazy because of his dog dying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
in John Wick.
He was forgiven. Because, same.
I mean, to be fair, also to just put it out there even more, yes, it was because his dog was killed, but there's more behind his dog being killed. It was like the last gift, I think, of his wife that was also now dead.
Well, and it was all like how it happened.
Yeah. You know, with the CGI pooped and everything.
Yeah.
I will not forget.
The most expensive poop ever. You could just have a dog shit. They had the CGI. Very expensive poop.
Couldn't have just been fake shit either. CGI it.
It gets like, yeah, and to double back, like, it's very easy. Like, there was another clip, my coworker and I were talking about this, and it's not to the same extent at all, but it's the same overarching theme of how we're talking about celebrities. Because I'm Canadian and I care about hockey way too much. My hockey team the Calgary Flames is very famous for very recently had what many consider one of the worst trades of all time. They brought a superstar in from Florida by the name of Jonathan Huberdeau, and he had the single greatest point drop-off, point decline in NHL history. Like, the single biggest downgrade from season to season when he joined Calgary. And there's a very famous clip from the start of this year of him getting benched in the third period of a game and being completely distraught. Just, like, devastated on the bench and hating himself. And you can see it. And you understand why a coach does that.
Yeah.
But it also shows, again, all these people might be celebrities, and a lot of them do shitty things.
Have feelings.
DiCaprio private jetting to the Oscars to then tell everybody in Canada to be better to the environment. Like, go fuck yourself, bud. Eat a bag of dicks. Actually, eat a bag of dicks.
Is also only dating people until they're
I'm too old for him now.
Yeah.
I'm way too old for him now. But, like, you know, a lot of them are shitty people.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are
good people.
Yeah.
And even if they're not, like, even you can shit on someone like Justin Bieber, and I'm not really a fan of his music or him as a guy, really, but, like, he was 18, and you could probably he could walk into, like, any crowded place and say the majority of the women in here want me, like, and he had endless set for life amounts of money.
Yeah,
you know what?
What 18-year-old doesn't go crazy?
Yeah.
You know what, though? I heard Justin Bieber actually got better as a person now, lately. He's actually grown up.
I mean, frankly,
it had to happen eventually.
Which,
like, not true. Well, some people just don't. Yeah.
Like, and honestly,
we
though,
all know one of them.
If like, let's be real, like, who among us, to quote Ben White, Human Disaster, who didn't do dumb things when they were 18?
Yeah, well, even Daniel Tosh, of all people, during one of his stand-up bits was like, yeah, if I was his age and I had that kind of money, I would probably just go into random restaurants and take a shit on the table. What are they gonna do? Exactly. And I'm like, you kind of have a point. Like, with that kind of money, it's gonna go to your head.
Like, you're
there's very few people in the world where that money wouldn't have gone to their head. As a kid, I would have been panicking. I'm like, what do I do with this?
I mean, that's
fair.
I
the king.
Actually,
like, I already thought when I was like 17, 18, I already thought I was the king shit. And it took having multiple knee surgeries and no one wanting to fucking see me. Because why the hell would they? I was a piece of shit to a lot of them.
See,
no one visited me and I was alone.
You know what?
Oh, I would have visited you. I would have visited you.
I know you would have, baby. I know you would have.
See, here's the thing. It's like now I'm realizing, or remembering now, back in the day, it's like if I had a load of money, I would have bought this school and made all my friends, or have all my friends move in so we can all have our own room in every part of the school and we can all live together here. Because that would be cool.
I would say stuff like that, but like I very much know my type of personality. I would be, and this is a How I Met Your Mother reference for anybody out there. There's an episode where Marshall has a lump sum of money because he's running a fantasy football league. And he's walking down the streets of New York going, I have like $5,000 here. Oh crap, that baby's staring at me. Everybody knows that babies can smell fear and money. And then he stops and he screams, I have a lot of money. And he runs away. And I'm like, that would be me. Yeah, I would be panicking 24/7.
Man, do I...
It's my money and I want it now.
that show had some... Oh, that show had some absolute banger moments.
Well, and that's the thing, like, it is definitely one of those shows that I'm like, yep, can't say some of that shit today, but some of the writing, like, overall, the storytelling, the writing, up until the last season, is
up to the last 10 minutes really even. The last season still had some banger bits. The mom was incredibly cast.
I loved her so much.
Yeah, if only they didn't fuck her up completely. In the last 15 minutes of the show. But like, and honestly, it's something that a lot of people need to I think come to terms with. And like, you can argue if society in regards to being more progressive, more understanding, more socially conscious is you can argue it goes too far, and you can argue it doesn't go far enough, whatever you want, but the reality is it's shifting a certain way. And a lot of shows, even something like Parks and Rec that stopped filming not even a decade ago now, had some outdated bad bits. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you could argue, you can absolutely argue, especially in the first season, is just propaganda.
Yeah.
And you can absolutely make those claims. You can also still enjoy them. Yeah. You can, like, I think it was Warner Brothers was the first company to put on their old cartoons, I think it was they had Whoopi Goldberg record a video saying, for all their old cartoons when they started re-releasing them in like the 2000s, saying, these have very outdated stereotypes, these have very outdated depictions. If we pretend they're not there or remove them, then it's like we're pretending they don't exist.
Which has never mind, I'm not gonna.
Or that they never existed.
No, what? What?
No,
say it. No, say it.
No, America is great at trying to pretend that we're not in the wrong. That's like the creator, one of the creators of Friends. She's like, yeah, there are episodes that I absolutely regret writing.
Any of the trans bits.
Yeah, 100% those. But she goes, while I regret it, I'm still glad that I did it because it shows that I've grown as a person. When we stop growing, we just become stagnant. We become those people that know, like, set in your ways and just boring. You don't want to be that type of person.
And honestly, like, for a bit more of like an introspective micro session, if you don't look back at yourself 10 years ago and go, what the fuck was I doing? Why was I like that?
Facebook memories, everybody.
And whether or not it was like I can look back at some of the things I did 10 years ago and go, I was a genuinely bad person. I can also look back at it and I was like, I was just that was just, I cringed now that we ever did that. Why did anyone around me ever let me dress like that or something?
Yeah, like, man, why did I use XD so much? Like, every time I found something funny.
Yo, people still use that to nowadays.
Oh, I still use it every now and then and I do think that it is funny.
No, you gotta, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it like this.
You gotta do RAR XD.
No, like type it out like that.
Ew, no.
XD!
No, man just typed EXDE. Absolutely not, you monster of a person.
It's XD!
XD's nuts.
Alright, fine. Chop.
Daddy?
X. No! Bitch.
Daddy.
Now I'm just thinking of Don Corneo in Final Fantasy VII again, and now I'm happy because that's one of the greatest bits in the show.
We've come full circle, everybody.
I'll give a full context because I was reminded they bring it up in Rebirth again. It's the best fucking part of the game.
Oh yeah.
in Final Fantasy VII, it's where Cloud has to cross-dress. The reason he does is because him, Tifa, and Aerith are basically trying to get dirt and figure out what this slumlord knows, and the slumlord is a womanizing asshole. And when the three of them get in there together and he's deciding on which bride he wants, they basically say, "You're going to give us what we want to know." And he says, "Or what?" And Cloud goes, "Or I'm going to cut them off." And then he keeps talking and he goes, "Or what?" And Aerith goes, "Or I'm going to rip them off." And then Tifa goes, "Or I'm going to smash them." And they add to it in Rebirth now, and you have Nanaki say, "I'm going to bite them off." And Barrett saying, "I'm going to shoot them off." It's so good.
This man's nuts got threatened so many different ways.
It's so good. Huh. Yeah, Barrett going, holding his gun arm to him, going, "We could just fill him full of lead." It's like, I love that, man.
Barrett's first reaction, shoot.
He shoot first and he asks questions never. We love him.
Exactly.
And we support him.
I love him. Barrett's such a good guy, and
he is just a good dad.
And he's become an even better dad in the remake.
He's the best thing from remake.
Hughes
bar none
is
for me.
My favorite dad ever.
Who is?
Hughes. Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Because we were having this one moment, me and my friends were having this moment, like, I know this moment in Full Metal Alchemist where Roy is going, it's just a bad day for Rain, and we're like, why is he crying here? We couldn't remember. Oh yeah, it was Hughes, because Hughes fucking died.
Hughes.
It's a terrible day for Rain. I haven't even watched the show, but I know that clip.
Yeah.
My roommate mentions it all the time.
This has been scheduling conflicts. It's a terrible day for Rain. Today. I am Bricker Boom.
Bebok.
And whatever the hell you want to call me eventually. Because it's getting worse.
Go with daddy comments, please. Go with daddy.
Again, drop daddy in the comments below, and I will dedicate the entire next episode to calling him daddy any chance I get. Until next time.
At least I have a few weeks before that.